All right. Hit us up.
Wait, what are those?
Reese's eggs.
Welcome back to the Void podcast reaction show, where we take apart conservative red pill content and make fun of it and react to it. If you're watching this video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and don't dash, crash the like button and then mash that notification bell.
Absolutely.
Really helps out
Okay.
smaller creators.
Today we're reacting to the Whatever podcast with Charlie Kirk versus feminists and e-girls.
That's what it's called.
Look, title. So we're reacting to this. Oops. Right, there we go. All right.
Welcome to the Whatever Dating Talk podcast, where we try to make sense of the modern dating hellscape. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Our first show of 2024. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. We're coming to you live.
Yeah, I do feel that we're here with them right now, so doing fun stuff.
Dude, I don't even get what this show is like immediately. Why are there 14 people here and they're all OnlyFans girls and then Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, it's just like the same.
There's just too many people. Like,
it is too many people, but it doesn't really matter about like how many people there are. He just like stacks the pod with like e-girls, OnlyFans girls, and then sometimes like actual smart people. And this time he's decided to bring on Charlie Kirk. He always brings on like one guy to like fight with all these girls. And they're always like super like relatively famous guys and like conservative guys. And they just try to shit on all of these OnlyFans girls. I mean, there's two girls here that I know of that are pretty smart. Pixie and Straighterade.
Is it like the same 9 girls every time?
No.
Okay, so it's like a rotate. And what's
It's
the
like Fresh and
extent?
Fit. You've seen Fresh and Fit.
Some, yeah. I don't make a point of it. All right, let's get into it.
Okay.
So.
Live from Santa Barbara, California, every Sunday and Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm your host, Brian Atlas. I'm joined by my co-host Kiki back there. She's somewhere back there. She's a bit shy. A few quick announcements before the show begins. This podcast is viewer supported.
All right, we're gonna skip the intro because who gives a shit?
Do you have like an equation on the board for a second?
Aaron, aka Straighterade. I'm originally from South Texas, but now based in Miami Beach. I'm 25 and I work for Progressive Victory, which is a PAC dedicated to helping get progressive politicians elected to office.
All right, welcome back.
Damn, what do you think about that, Charlie Kirk?
Burn.
Yeah, well, I wasn't burning him, but I was just wondering. Okay.
Hi, I'm Savannah. I'm 20. My birthday just happened. 26. I'm 26. I'm from LA, and I'm a clothing designer / model.
Okay, welcome.
Hi, I'm Pixie. I'm 24. I currently live in Miami, but I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I also work with Progressive Victory in the streaming operations, helping connect streamers to legislators to help pass progressive legislation. So
I always feel so bad watching Pixie debate. Like I've seen her do it before, and she's just like such a nice person. And it seems like she needs to be way more aggressive when she fights a lot of these people, because a lot of these people are like dicks, you know?
Yeah, you got to take.
And she just doesn't really like get in hard enough. She's just such a nice person.
Yeah.
It also makes it hard to like be mean to her though.
yeah, here I am.
All right, welcome back.
Hi, I'm Angel. I'm 19. I do social media and I am a piercing apprentice.
Okay, got it.
Hi, I'm Tina Snows. I'm from Dublin, Ireland.
How does it make you feel that she's 3 years younger than you and she's here?
She's 19.
Yeah,
I don't really care. Dude, we're at the Void podcast.
we're winning. Yeah.
Dude, we're winning.
Also, if you want to come on the show, go for it.
I'm 25. And I'm a content creator on social media, on OnlyFans. I also work with productions on adult movies. And I'm
Adult
also
movies.
involved in influencer boxing scene.
Are those like really like hard to understand for children or something?
Yeah, it's like David Fincher films, and that's probably what she's talking about.
yeah, I'm sure.
She was a grip on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I've just started
They're actually Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. They were wait, no, it wasn't Once Upon a Time. Different movie. There was like adult filming in one of those movies though.
Oh, okay.
streaming on Twitch.
You do any boxing yourself, or you're just involved in the
I've only
promotion?
just started training. I took it up 2 months ago because I've already done the ring girl. I've done ring walks. So I'm taking up to training now and seeing where I can go. Maybe 2024, you'll see me fighting in the ring. Who knows?
Got it. Okay.
Let's hit some 1.5 for a bit here.
Yeah, I just want to stop and say this Asian girl in the back with the military thing. She's like my favorite person on the show. 'Cause she just sits there for every show. I know,
dude. I'm
and
surprised.
says nothing. I
I
don't
know.
know why she gets paid. I don't know
I don't
what's
even know
going
I don't
on
know
there.
if she does get paid.
Is it like his girlfriend or something, or like what?
I heard that she's like his half sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's just like,
And she just sits there professionally. I don't really get it. Like
Okay.
I'm not dogging on her, but
no,
it's
it
like
just sounds like a very boring job.
yeah, it sounds very boring.
Hi, I'm Molly Little. I'm 20.
And she's always staring at the camera.
She's like, I am a set piece for a show that bashes OnlyFans models, and I
Yeah.
sit there 4 hours a day.
And I'm a porn star, and I do OnlyFans.
I'm Charlie, Charlie Kirk. Honored to be here, and I run Turning Point USA and also host a podcast, the Charlie.
Dude, Charlie Kirk's facial features are so close together.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Wait, did you come up with that?
No,
Oh, okay. It sounds original.
it's not.
He looks like a guy in The Incredibles or one of those movies. I don't even.
Yeah, he looks like an angry anime villain. Or I mean, like a angry animation villain.
Like
Good
Kirk Show, and
save.
have a YouTube channel, that good stuff.
Sweet.
From Arizona.
Age?
I just turned 30, so I'm getting too old for this stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, okay.
30 and 30.
When was your birthday?
October. Yeah.
Great. So
He's pretending to be civil. He's going to get into it and call all of them. Well, actually, no, he wouldn't call any of them like hoes and stuff because he's a Republican conservative. He's not like a red pill guy.
He's gonna call them immoral.
Yeah. Which like is arguably like kind of worse
What
because
do you-
you'd like saying like, oh, I'm even this much better than you.
What do you think modern women find more grating to hear? Like when like the red pill guys call them like whores, or when the conservative guys are like, "You're desecrating the temple that God built for you."
Honestly, probably that.
Yeah. Just more poetic with his.
Also, like if you're American, like Christianity is just like you've been a part of it. Like even if you weren't raised by it or anything, it's just been a part of your world. And like guys have been calling you hoes like your whole life, and just like it's disrespectful, but they're probably just used to it now. But like taking this step further to say like you're desecrating like the place of God, like you're not living to your like godly potential, like that'd feel bad, I'd imagine.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the table once more. What is everyone's current relationship status? So are you single?
Yeah, I don't think I care about that, so we're gonna skip.
Dude, just one other thing. On that girl who called herself a porn star, I feel like star has the lowest barrier for entry in porn than anything else. Like if you're in the NBA,
Yeah,
you wouldn't say I'm a
immediately-
basketball star.
Immediately, if you do porn, you are a porn
Like
star.
how about porn actor?
You're right, they don't
Like,
say that.
Don't you have to get to a certain level?
And you're an OnlyFans
Imagine
model.
if Bruce Brown was
Also, if
like,
you
I'm a
don't-
basketball star.
If you do OnlyFans, you're an OnlyFans model immediately.
Well, you're modeling. It's like end up being an actor.
But it's not modeling though, is it? It's just like, isn't it like porn?
I don't know.
Like it's like almost porn, right? It's like softcore.
Yeah, which is also could be modeling, like softcore porn.
Okay, I guess whatever.
That's so cute.
It's
Whatever podcast.
Exactly.
it's honestly the most joyful thing, and I've had some pretty amazing experiences. I've been very, very blessed, very lucky, you could say, but very blessed is the word I would use. And the greatest joy I've ever had is coming home to my little daughter running up to my leg. There's nothing that even comes close to it. Not flying on Air Force One, not
Oh, he's starting it right away, saying like building the family is the thing you need to do.
meeting with presidents. That's all that pales in comparison to your little girl coming up and squeezing your leg.
Okay. Got it. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that with,
Yeah. So I just wanted to circle back because you said something that caught my attention, and I disagree with it. Because you said something like, I hope all of you can like experience that. And
I disagree that you love your daughter and that's joyful. I think being a porn star is more fun. And then she comes out with that.
That'd be pretty insane. Okay. Let's get it back.
like, you said something like, I hope all of you can experience that. And I mean, I don't disagree with that. I hope we can all experience joy in life like that. That's amazing. But I just feel like
Is she about to make the argument?
I mean, she
I
kind
don't
of.
know why you said it that way. Like maybe we're not going to experience that because we don't have the same values as you.
Is that what he said?
From that? I thought it was.
I don't think that's
I don't know.
that's not.
I feel like his answer is pretty neutral to begin with.
It was. But I mean, like, going on to the show, like what like these people are.
Yeah, but just wait. Like he's gonna say fucked up shit, you know?
Yeah, no, that is true. But it's like, like, I mean, from the get-go, like, he's kind of like subliminally hinting at like them being like immoral, shitty, like bad people.
Not the impression I got, but if Charlie wants to answer.
Well, if I said it that way, I didn't mean it that way. But do you feel is that a goal that you have to be a mother?
Okay. The P star is
And
giving
dumb.
Charlie a covert. Well, okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Moving on.
No, but Molly, do you think that
Keep it.
is that okay?
Oh, no. Sorry. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
is that a goal that you would want in your life to be a mother?
100%.
Should we get like a person to stand behind us? Just like look at the camera.
Just run it.
Dude, Ron's just hanging out behind us.
And he's like twirling like throughout the entire. He's just rotating.
Yeah, we get him like a rotating chair.
Yeah, or like a Roomba.
We can just get Joe Biden behind us.
It'd be great if Ron and like Ethan were there just dressed as security guards with sunglasses on.
So stupid.
Do you think that in your self-described current line of work that is more or less likely?
What do you mean by likely? Like,
What do you mean by like?
I mean, maybe you can tell me more about your line of work.
what would you like to know?
Do you think that it's going to create a
Oh,
good, happy?
see, like like what do you want to know about my line of work? He immediately is going to the morality of it.
I feel like he's coming in so moderate though, in my opinion. Like I don't think he's saying anything crazy.
I agree that it might seem like he's coming in moderate, but I've watched like these whatever podcasts before, and all of them are always dogging on them for doing like OnlyFans.
Yeah, well, I mean, when he gets to that point, we'll talk about it. But like, I feel like he's coming from a pretty like understanding place.
Okay, carry on.
You family in the future?
Right now I'm working on it. Yeah, me
That's
and
good.
my boyfriend are doing really well in our relationship, and honestly, I think contrary to what most people would believe, I think
Dude, the host Brian always just seems like he's just like not messing with even hosting the show. Like he's always like putting his hand in his head, and he's just like, God damn it.
Well, it's a show hosted by two people who don't want to be there.
Yeah.
One who doesn't talk, and so they just called it fucking whatever. That's the name
Literally,
of the show.
that's why it's called whatever.
Yeah.
being in porn has strengthened us.
Why is that? I've never heard that.
Yeah.
What, can you tell me why?
So basically, like,
By the way, if you feel like it's going faster in 1.25.
being in porn and having sort of like this open type of relationship where you can have sex with other people. Obviously, there are certain boundaries in the relationship, but it really makes you think about, what's important, why you love this person, and you start to really hold things true that are deeper than just sex. And I think that on top of that, you can share sex with other people together, and that's really bonding. That's really fun.
Are you ever worried that do you ever get jealous of him if he has sex with other people?
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
So how does that strengthen your relationship?
Because we're able to talk about it, and I think
Wait, that is actually really interesting. Why would you want to be in an open relationship if you already know you're going to get jealous about? Like the guy hooking up. with
I mean,
girls?
I think that he's going to expose that very well. I sort of agree with him on this, but I think her steel man would be just that the joy of that outweighs the jealousy.
Sure.
And
that can make sense.
it does by
I
definition.
just
if they're doing
I don't believe that anyone who could get jealous about their significant other hooking up with other people should ever be in a relationship.
I totally agree with you.
every time that I bring up a concern and he's able to soothe it, and we're really able to like work on that.
Also, this is total bullshit because it's like he said, how if you get jealous, how does that strengthen the relationship? And she says, oh, well, when we have problems, we work them out. It's like a problem doesn't make something better just because you can solve the problem.
Mhm. It might make like a indirect factor might make your communication better, which in turn would make things stronger. If I had to steelman that.
Okay.
Bond, it just makes it stronger.
Have you ever, when you were having sex, do you ever think it's more than physical? That maybe there's emotional and spiritual connections you might be introducing?
No.
So it's a purely physical experience.
Yeah.
See, for me, sex is more than physical. It's actually, that's the least part of sex for me because I get to share it with my soulmate. It's my best friend.
Exactly.
Wait, what does he mean? It's not physical. Like it's more than physical.
I think he's saying that he has an emotional connection with his wife, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but he has that emotional connection. I don't think he'd be reaching the same level without the physicality of it. Like
well,
it's
I think
by requirement, like you need to be like
for sure.
physical
I think
to
what
work.
he's saying is there's something emergent.
No, I know what he's talking about, but I'm saying like he's like trying to disregard the physicality as if that doesn't matter at all, and say like, oh no, it's this emotional bonding thing. Yeah, you're only doing it though because of the physicality.
I don't know if that's what he's saying.
Okay, it feels like that. It feels like he's just missing the physicality aspect of it and saying like, no, it's greater.
I think
thing.
you might say physicality is necessary but not sufficient to achieve what he's talking about.
Yeah, I agree.
We need a big energy exchange.
Yeah, it's a big energy exchange. And so, Molly, I would ask respectfully, wouldn't you want to only share that energy exchange with the person that you love most and want to have children with?
I think sex can exchange.
A lot of the times these like interactions don't really work because they have like completely different moral frameworks. Like one extremely religious person is never going to agree about like what sex is with someone who's like in an open relationship,
Yeah.
It's like a lot of times like these conversations are almost like unneeded,
different types of energies. So like you can exchange an intimate type of energy, or you can exchange a really passionate, like horny type of energy. You can exchange dull energy during sex. You can exchange manipulative energy during sex. Sex can be used for a wide variety of things. And I think the biggest one is like marital spiritual connection, but you can't deny that there's other benefits to it as well.
If you could be with your boyfriend currently, and I waved a magic wand and I said you can make $1 million a year and never do porn again, would you?
No.
Okay.
What? Are you making more than that?
What? Dude, should we get noises? Like sound effects?
That'd be.
Or should we just make
lame.
our own noises?
Yeah, just.
What?
A year, Molly?
Not yet.
Yeah, dude. Also, like,
What?
anytime you make a good point for now in a debate, I'm just gonna go like,
Yeah.
quit yapping.
Let it
Oh,
breathe
well,
for
then-
30 seconds. Okay.
I mean, aren't you doing that? That's your profession. So I assume you're doing that to make money, correct?
Yeah, 100%. Well, also
But Charlie
I'm
just
doing-
has a magical wand. That's not the wand. He's
For the sake of argument.
he's used the wand. You can make $1 million a year.
Yeah.
You don't have to do digital content.
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't have to do it. That would be great, but I would still want to do it. I mean, personally, like, I'm an exhibitionist. I love like putting my sexual self out there for other people to see, for other people to like, touch themselves to, have fun with.
Can I ask you
love
a question? Since you're about presenting yourself to the world, do you have a good relationship with your father?
Okay, here we go.
All right, this is where he starts to moralize a bit outside of my depth because it's like that's not directly relevant to anything. He's just kind of mapping on his own shit.
Well, not outside of your depth.
What?
Like, do you mean like you don't understand it?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that like up until now it seemed like he was coming good faith, but now it's like okay, like he kind of is dialogue treating her into
Yeah, I
he says,
agree.
oh, if you're in porn, you
You
must
like
have a bad
disagree with things
father.
he's saying now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's not trying to form a connection at this point.
Now it's just an argument.
Yeah.
I don't talk to him.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I actually think it's principle that you said you wouldn't give it up just for money, because that shows that you do it for reasons beyond just like financial ones. That shows you have like a genuine passion and interest in it.
Grid One Motorsports donated $200. In other words, sex
Like
is
also,
whatever.
if you wanted to ask him, like, would he ever have sex if he was able to reach the same kind of like emotional connection with his wife that he would otherwise? Like, he probably still would have sex.
Yeah, exactly.
She needs to make believe it is at the time she needs to rationalize it. It's called whole logic.
Oh,
I wouldn't use that language, but Molly, what I would say is you seem like a sweet person. Maybe something to think about as the years go on, that maybe sex should just be saved for the person you love most. I would ask you or the panel, what would your definition of love be?
Me and the whole panel.
Or just anyone. I mean, that's just a fundamental question with dating, right? Is that a tough question, guys? What is
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I feel
very
like love is
complex
complicated.
answer.
you know what? Let's go around the table.
It is a pretty tough question.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, no, it's great. It's great. It's great. We'll go around the table. Do you want to answer? So your question is, what is love?
Yeah, that's a song too.
What is love?
It's a good song.
Yeah, or how would you define love? Because I think
How do you
that
define love?
shouldn't that we all agree that's probably a good goal of dating, to find love. Do we all
Yeah.
agree on that?
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll start with you. We'll go around the table if you guys want to give your answers.
Let's skip forward a bit.
Go ahead.
I feel like love.
We're gonna skip forward a bit.
You're like fuck love.
Yeah, fuck that shit. I just want to hear like Pixie and Straight Array talk because they actually
Wait, who's the other one you want to talk?
Pixie's in pink, Straight Array wears the glasses.
Would you quit that line of work if you were totally financially supported? Similar to the question to Molly.
I mean, anything to make me stay in bed all day. So yeah, but in terms of a soulmate, I don't know. Like I'd rather myself be my own soulmate. Like I was raised by an independent mother. I haven't really seen much of a like kind of I guess a relationship, but I also feel like you don't really need it. My mom has done everything for herself and for me. So I don't know. I feel
So this is where I agree with Charlie Kirk and where I disagree with Charlie Kirk. I agree that like when people give an answer like that, it's probably bullshit or deflection or insecurity.
Or
I
they
don't-
just haven't thought about it enough.
or they haven't thought about it. I don't think anyone actually genuinely wants to be alone or wants to not find love or wants to not be in a committed relationship. Where I disagree with him is I don't know why that bothers him that other people aren't doing that.
Yeah, and that's the whole like religious thing, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't just have your own religion; you have to push it on other people.
Yeah.
and that's not every religious person. Like I actually argue that probably more religious people are probably just doing their own thing, but it's like the religious, like the religious pressure to like push
And
it on other people.
It's almost like disgusting because it's like this is one of the most probably top 30, 50 most powerful media people in the
in the right.
in the right and in the country, you know, and to spend this kind of time focusing on shit that's not economics or even shit like immigration or taxes to focus on this. It's almost like irresponsible.
Yeah, but it also is like it's a tactic in a way because like the right and also the left sometimes, they focus on like the culture war. They focus on like on the relatively insignificant things that matter to the country. Like if Charlie Kirk got into the weeds about like the economics of Donald Trump's presidency, like how much worse and more boring would that be for his viewers? His viewers want to see him like shit on people that he could obviously shit on. I don't think he really cares, and I don't even think his viewers really care about like the economics of the country.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we got the 49ers game with the Lions in the back, and San Francisco just got a touchdown.
Back to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
like menopause as well. I'm gonna get sick of them, and I'll be in a marriage that I will regret. So
Sick of who?
if I get married.
Oh,
So
it's
if I do
such
get married,
such a
and
dark view of marriage. It's a beautiful
Yeah,
thing,
I
everybody.
mean,
It's this
it is
exciting,
with the right. I've yet to
amazing.
experience
No,
something that
I
makes me
trust me.
believe.
Part of the problem is the culture is so dark and terrible.
It is.
I will be perfect. It's very hard. Marriage is
I wonder if you'd be able to explain why marriage is so much better than like two people loving each other for their whole life. Like, what does the union of marriage really change like all that much? Your dynamic with someone who you decided to love for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Like, it doesn't really change.
it's
anything.
it's
the religion again.
It's the religion, whatever he'd say, and I agree with you that there is probably no difference. But they don't even agree with that,
Mhm.
right? That you should have a loving bond, even independent of
Yeah, I know.
marriage.
It's just once again, it's like you need to have marriage in your life because that's
Yeah.
really gonna be what
It's
it's
all-
like. No, that's not even really what I mean. You mean that you want that person to spend the rest of their life with someone else.
Yeah.
You know, and that's much more palatable, I'd argue.
just very difficult. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. And raising kids is even harder than that. And I've done some difficult stuff, but it's by far the most fulfilling.
Charlie, do you think people should wait until marriage to have sex?
Ideally, of course, yes. But I'm not here to judge people I'm not here to say that you're a bad person or whatever. I have my,
Sorry, can I just ask?
yes.
Isn't he kind of saying that though? Like within all of his arguments, he is
I don't
kind
think
of
he has said that yet,
like, but
or even implied that.
I feel like it's okay. Maybe he's like being really respectful right now because it's the start. But I've definitely heard him.
Yeah,
say
no,
that
I think he
before.
believes that, but I don't think you said it here.
Yeah,
Sure.
Did you wait till marriage?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
really?
the greatest decision of my life.
Wow,
yeah.
wow. I would not be able. Imagine you waited till marriage and you find it.
I had
Dude,
other-
can everything be the greatest decision of your life? Like having kids was the greatest decision. Like getting married was the greatest decision of my life. Waiting to have sex and like I was married was the greatest decision of my life.
during
Like
Porn
everything is
Points
like
USA.
the best thing because like I am
Yeah.
religious and all of these things that I've done are the greatest decision.
Yeah,
It's all just like
can't something just
loading
be like
everything as much as you can to say what I'm doing is better than
you ever done something that's like a B+, man?
Yeah.
Is everything a knock out of the park?
No, everything is the greatest decision.
I would hate that. Like, I would be so.
Well, there's
mad.
more important
I'd
things.
be
I
so
think more
big in
important
the
things.
fit. Well, yeah,
Well-
like, you can't leave it up to the marriage day, man. Sexual
But
intercourse is
let's
important.
play the other side of it. Imagine going into the bedroom on your marriage night and knowing that you both have each other for the first time. You never had to share that human being.
Yeah, true. But then again, I lost
That
my
would be
virginity
dope.
to a virgin. as well,
Or
so
imagine if they were
I'd
really
argue.
experienced and they were in an awesome way and you guys also had a connection.
Or-
That would also be really
Or
fun.
if they're a man, they might be thinking about other women for the rest of your relationship.
I don't think men stop thinking about other women just because they get married. I
Yeah,
really
think
doubt
men
that.
will do that no matter what.
No,
Yeah.
men's minds are rather undisciplined. You are right. That is true. But they don't have other experiences or pair bonds, especially for young women with pair bonds are a real thing to compare that to. But look, I will go back to what I said. Sex is a very powerful thing. We all agree with that, right? And I think you
A
have to,
tool, one might even say.
it can be used. It can be abused. It could be, but in its ideal, which I fully acknowledge, it's very, very hard to do. Very hard, very difficult. But should be a goal that I would like to see more people at least talk about in a non-judgmental way that is worth aspiring to. And it's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's not popular, but it's not impossible.
Okay. Did you have a response, Aaron? Or
He honestly sounds like fucking Destiny right now. Like not in terms of his takes, but in terms of the energy he's coming in with when Destiny debates conservatives. Like,
Yeah, like tries to come
like you
in,
see that, right? Like he's coming in very like.
No, I agree.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
I
yeah, I
respect
totally
that
agree. I mean, it's
approach.
like the same perspective that I have of Charlie Kirk or any like right wing person who I've seen talk before. Is like I'm bringing in all of like the bad stuff that I've seen from him before, just like all the people who hate Destiny would probably bring that in as well.
I thought someone over here had a.
I think I had something to say. but
Oh, did you have? Yeah, sorry.
I
Did you
forgot
have
what
more?
it
Did any, if you could wipe the slate, I know this is hypothetical. That's okay.
But I remember
Yes,
what I
I'm
was saying.
sorry,
Now.
yeah.
You were saying that like
All right, we're gonna move forward a bit again. We just want to get into more of the I don't know, better conversations.
I think you can have impulse control issues with porn, but that would be like any other thing that you could have difficulty controlling, like your consumption of.
So
Go ahead, Molly, please.
So my,
Yeah.
my question is like, I kind of have a comparison of my own, and I'll try and sum this up as fast as I can. But basically, when prohibition happened, people said that alcohol, it was not good for you. It led to deaths. It led to arguments, negative things, whatever. Prohibition
Which all those things do happen.
Yeah.
happened. People still found ways to have parties with alcohol, drink alcohol, speakeasies existed. The only thing that happened was people didn't stop drinking alcohol. People started getting arrested and punished for it. And it started ruining people's livelihoods in that way instead of in a way that they have control over.
Totally agree with what she's saying. And I'll reiterate what I said on the porn debate, which you guys should go check out. That's why you always lead with culture, right?
Mhm.
Don't legislate away something that people don't want legislated away. Because it's just going to lead to fucked up shit like prohibition,
Yeah, it'll lead to like civil unrest. It'll lead to like maybe jail.
Yeah.
All of that bad stuff.
Meaning that they can stop the addiction by getting help at any time.
Mhm.
So my question is, if you think porn is so bad, like an addiction like that, what's your solution? Because if you're going to get rid of it, it's still going to exist.
Well, the first solution, I mean, can you at least agree, Molly, that minors shouldn't be viewing porn?
100%.
Okay, good. So the,
for a reason.
Yeah.
well, the age verification's a little bit.
yeah.
So let's talk about that. Utah and Texas passed laws that Pornhub sued that made it more robust. You had to actually provide an ID, and Pornhub didn't like that because they said it would limit their traffic. So would you all agree that if there was robust ID checking, that would like 18, we can at least agree?
Do you think that there's more people who consume porn that are under like 24 than above?
I have no idea. I would imagine Probably not, just because there's so many people above 24. But it is
also
possible.
like a much newer form of porn.
I would
you know?
imagine the 30 and under demographic is the biggest of any.
Consumer.
I'd say the 10 to 30 bracket is the biggest of any 20-year age bracket you could take.
Mhm.
Also, that's crazy if Pornhub actually did that.
Yeah, like they said no.
If they tried to,
Like you had to put your ID in.
yeah,
Why?
because it's tacitly saying we want to. Well, it's literally saying we want to make it easier for minors to view porn.
Yeah, why?
Which
why,
is illegal.
Why they didn't do it?
It sounds like Utah and another state
Wanted them to do it.
wanted stricter.
And porn said they
Pornhub
wouldn't.
sued them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Draw the line.
That's why I want to ask questions. Like maybe they might know the statistics. Like they might have their own statistics on it, and know,
Yeah.
like how much of their.
It is an incredibly hard thing to probably try to verify.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the normal age.
Okay,
for it.
I'm glad to hear that. So on the other side, though, I mean, I think we have to acknowledge that the average American male spending anywhere between 45 minutes to 90 minutes on porn websites, it varies. I mean, this is a new phenomenon, and I just want to reiterate it, that highly interactive, three-dimensional video that triggers dopaminergic responses in the brain is unlike anything we've encountered. The
You
science
say dopaminergic?
You wanted to sound very smart.
Yeah, smart guy. Might need to start listening to him.
is still being studied in Gary Wilson's book.
Dude, she's just staring at the camera in the back.
She wants to go home, man.
I don't even know. Maybe she just stays there the whole time.
Is phenomenal on this, Your Brain on Porn. In fact, it is the most used, let's just say product, we don't have to say drug, product for young men in this country. And I guess you would all say that, let me just ask you, how many of you are thrilled with the status of American men? You think that they're strong and confident and they tell the truth?
I love an American man as an Irish girl.
Okay, well, then you're the
They're
exception.
all Americans are silent.
Okay, yeah, but hold on. And I'm not going to say it's only because of porn, because that would not be fair. But porn consumption does not make better men.
No.
That's also very brilliant framing by him to take like the feminist, like all men suck rhetoric as a wedge against porn
that they do
consumption and
defend.
sexual like
Yeah.
frivolousness.
Yeah, no, it's a good tactic.
Yeah.
You agree?
I agree 100%.
So that's where I'm just trying to introduce into the conversation. You said, what is the solution? So I would just say, Molly, my advice, what I ask for you is, for people to stop participating in it if that's not going to happen because the money is so good. But we should draw the line at 18. There should be very, very hard to access. But to your point, Molly, you're not wrong. People would always find it. But we should draw a line in the sand somewhere, especially with minors, or have some sort of, we should have some sort of acknowledgement that this is destroying parts of society. And I want
Just an update.
Even score.
Even scored 24-24. 49ers just got another touchdown.
I'm gonna win like $110 if Purdy pulls this off.
I'm pretty hype.
to say it's worse than fentanyl, but in some ways it's very, very sneaky. A lot of married men watch pornography. As I said, I've had my own personal struggles with it. It's incredibly addictive. It's incredibly powerful. It also creates depressive effects in about half of the men that consume pornography. And I would just say that, young ladies, it affects women differently than men. Men are 50 times more visual oriented than women. And that's not to say that women don't consume pornography. They do, and increasingly higher rates. But I think it's a social toxin right now.
I don't think that's a
Hold on, just a second.
Charlie Kirk Enjoyer donated $200. Hey Charlie, just want to say,
How much glazing do you have to be named Charlie Kirk Enjoyer?
Oh my god, it's his fucking name. I think he changed it before the comment.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like still like you're glazing.
thank you for everything you do. You are a force for good in America. Great to see you on the Whatever podcast. Question, would you ever consider running for office?
It's so scripted. No, not anytime soon. But thank you for the $200 too.
Wait, I have a question for you
Yeah,
actually,
please,
just
sure.
because I don't
Yeah.
really know who you are, but there's like a lot of
You're very
politics.
lucky. You're very,
okay.
very
I was just like, what do you do? Because I've seen you've mentioned politics and now that what do you
I run an organization called Turning Point USA. I'm a conservative. If you haven't
Okay.
figured that out. And a Christian, and I host a 3-hour show every day
Okay.
in my name. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's switch.
I envy you that you don't know, but yes, I'm sorry.
Totally fine. Let's switch gears a little bit here. So, going around the table, asking all the girls here, would you date someone who does not align with your politics? So, if you're a liberal, would you date a conservative? If you're conservative,
Would you?
Of course, but
it would make it hard.
not even what it would make. I wouldn't say like, oh, we have a different ideology, so we couldn't date. I would just imagine that the ideology would be predictive of other things that might be incompatible.
Mhm.
But like my girlfriend right now, like is definitely more conservative than me. I don't think she's very conservative, but yeah, it's more about like your cultural views and like
Yeah.
economics.
It probably
or shit.
one depends on the extent to like how different your political ideologies are.
And how much they care about it too.
Exactly that as well. It's like if I probably could date a conservative girl, but also like I feel like I don't really hit on like a lot of like what's it called? Like optically I kind of like physically look like a conservative. Like I walk around like I was like
You look like you're in an indie band, man.
okay, maybe that. But I mean like I'm relatively loud. Like I'm kind of debatey, like kind of aggressive. I will argue from like middle of the path on like a variety of political issues. So it's like I can look optically conservative, but I'm not,
Mhm.
So like I think I probably would be able to get get along with a conservative girl a lot more than like other liberal guys, you know. So I don't think it would be a huge issue for me.
Would you date a liberal? If you're a communist, would you date an anarcho-capitalist? I guess I don't know.
Also, it would just create like really fun conversation.
Yeah, it would be enjoyable.
So tell us what your political orientation is going around the table, and if you would date somebody who differed from you politically, and if so, why not? Starting with you, go ahead.
Honestly, I feel like it wouldn't be that big of a decision for me. I wouldn't mind. I feel like I'm not that strict about certain things, and I feel like if I want to be with him, I'll be with him and accept him for whatever it is, and maybe even try to, I guess. Well, no, we can't.
Do you think she has eye contacts in, or
agree to disagree.
her real eyes?
Like her, what do you mean?
I feel like on certain things I might actually.
Like people put like fake color eye contacts in.
I don't know.
They look like really cool if they're real.
I'm too indecisive. Never mind.
Where do you fall politically?
Undefined.
Okay. Undefined?
I'm not going to say it.
Okay. Anarchist, maybe? I don't know.
Not even a hint. Maybe you guys can pick up randomly.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
I don't know. Okay, Aaron, what about you? What about you?
Yeah, I find dating somebody who disagrees.
Is she worried that she's gonna like split her OnlyFans on you?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, some people like I would imagine it'd be an extreme one, which is why she's not saying it.
Yeah, but what if she's like, I'm a moderate Republican, and then her fans are like, you're so fucking hot, but I fucking hate Mitt Romney. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty funny.
Me politically, I already do. My boyfriend's like a liberal, you know, which is filthy liberal, even though I'm, you know, further left than him, but I love him in spite of that. So
okay. So what if you were to put a word to how you would describe yourself politically? Are you a leftist?
Yeah, I'd say I'm like on the left.
And your boyfriend's liberal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about you?
It kind of depends how. I honestly, on both sides, it depends how like hardcore they are, because a lot of like hardcore like stuff like that I don't even agree with, like on both sides. So it would kind of depend on like what they believe in or like how hardcore they are with it. But I think I could. I don't really. I mean, I'm always down to have like discussions and conversations. So I think I could. As for my like political, I don't really care.
You don't care?
I would say I'm like in the middle, honestly.
Who did you vote for in the last election?
Or did you vote? Most people don't vote.
I regret my vote now, but we could.
That means you voted for Biden.
Probably, yeah.
Biden, unfortunately.
Kanye? You voted for Kanye?
That would have been a better choice, honestly. No, I voted for Biden, unfortunately.
And you regret that?
I do.
Why do you regret that?
Do you see the state of the world? I mean,
You're
like
smart.
That's why I'm just in the middle.
Do you want to share?
I agree with like stuff on both sides.
Good for you. Pixie, what about you?
I'm a progressive. My last date actually lasted 20 minutes because of this.
Oh, wait, we have the tweets. Nick, pull up her tweets really quick. I saw your tweets.
Shit, the receipts.
About that, we have the receipts. Nick, go ahead.
How much money is in your guys' bank account?
Yeah, not to go red pill here, but have you noticed that girls will do this when they laugh sometimes? Is it because they're insecure about their smile, or am I looking too much into it?
Yeah, maybe some of them. I mean, like I know, so like Machine Gun Kelly also does it. You know,
does he?
Yeah, he like does this, and he said like he's insecure about his smile.
Okay,
so, like,
so maybe
I don't know if it's just a girl thing. Maybe more girls do it. But yeah, maybe they are insecure about it, or it's just like a natural tendency that they picked up.
What was that?
We had like a YouTube video randomly start playing Nick. Got it? Make it scroll bigger, Nick. Okay, I'm convinced I have to move from Miami so I can actually
Horrible
find
audio.
some next.
Today,
Yeah, this is terrible audio.
Like, you know, like, so I asked him, and he actually,
Let's go back.
and what they mean is like smaller government and less taxes, which is, you know, something I can like deal with. And then some people are like, oh, you know, like Nick Fuentes style, like, you know, like, so I asked him, and he actually said he was a huge fan of yours, which is like fine.
That's a deal killer.
No.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Oh, okay.
But no.
It was you.
No. But and he was saying like, oh,
Who's a big fan of Brian?
Fucking Brian assless.
Dude, it's like you nice, killed it. But dude, it's like imagine like walking up to someone and like you're asking, like, yo, who's your favorite like YouTuber? Like what kind of content do you love? It's like, dude, Brian with that whatever podcast.
Yeah, the guy on the fucking whatever podcast who says nothing.
He just hates his job.
I think that he brings on 10 people every time because he doesn't want to have to carry any sort of load.
Yeah, he just wants to be a part of it.
Yeah.
oh, you know, I'm really.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah.
I like this.
Huge fan.
But he was like, I'm just like really hardcore conservative, and I was like, well, honestly, at this point, I feel like I would make you more upset than you make me upset. And
You
then
think so?
yeah,
It seems to me that typically it's liberals who are not prepared to be friends with conservatives versus the reverse.
I
I actually think they've done studies on this. It's conservatives typically, from what I've seen, tend to.
I would imagine that's probably true, but maybe not liberals. Like maybe like leftists would have a harder time being friends with conservatives. But I have friends that are conservative, and I have no problem being friends with them.
Yeah.
I think you have to make the distinction between liberal and leftist. You know, I think that's probably pretty important.
Well, liberals and conservatives kind of love each other.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I can get along with a conservative person.
while they
I might not get along with a leftist, like not because like I wouldn't be able to handle them. They might be with me.
I just don't like when people are really into conspiracy theories, which is
That's
either
like the farther
leftist
right
or,
stuff.
or rightist.
Yeah.
You know, it could be
Yeah,
either.
no, like I could still hang out with that person and like talk to them.
Yeah, I just wouldn't want to talk politics. Like I'm pretty cool with most people, as long as they're not like constantly fucking talking about insane shit. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
disagree ideologically, liberals just will outright hate somebody who's conservative and think they're like evil.
I think
No, I don't like that. I
I
want
do
to
think though that does happen on both sides. Like conservatives do hate liberals for, I mean, not conservatives. Like I don't know. It really depends on what you are. Like some people on the extreme right will hate people on the left no matter what. Just like a lot of people on the left will.
I will say though, like I feel like conservatives hate leftist leaders and they make fun of leftist people, like for sure.
But
And
they
then,
might not hate them.
But they might not hate them. And then leftists like literally think conservatives should die in many cases.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
It's
especially on
it's a
Twitter.
different
And Twitter's
level.
like super extreme, but I do get that feeling.
Like there's tons of comments like saying like, "Oh, you're a soy boy, like you're a fucking beta."
And it's making fun of you.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like they might like
the
laugh.
leftist comments would be like, "We should use violence against conservatives."
No,
and it's like,
yeah, it's
shit.
true. Yeah, I agree.
get to be friends with them so I can convert them into my leftist ideology. So
How
how am I supposed to convert them?
Yeah, I come from a conservative family. I have a lot of close friends that are conservative. So to me, that's like, I'm not new to disagreeing with people. Like that's just part of life for me. But yeah, it's just like, I'm okay dating somebody who believes in like some different things than me. It just depends on what extent. Like, for example, if I want to have children in the future, and if my child, let's say, comes out as gay, and my partner's like, we have to send them to conversion therapy. To me, that's like a hard line. To me, that's like, no, like I couldn't put my child through that.
We can maybe come back to that specific thing. But just curious, how did you meet him?
Oh, Hinge.
You met him on Hinge? Doesn't it allow you to disclose your political leanings on?
Yeah, I disclosed mine. He didn't disclose his.
Okay.
That's actually, I'm like, that's cool. Like,
I
that's a
didn't know
good
that.
feature.
I think I might have been on Hinge for like a minute there. I feel like that is a thing.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
that's a cool feature.
Yeah, if he had such a big issue with it. Well, okay. We'll continue going around. And then, did you have anything in response to her, Charlie? Or
no, I actually think you guys made the right choice. Believe it or not, I think you have to have value alignment. I think you have to have worldview harmony. That you shouldn't date or marry people. I mean, you have kids. Or are you going to have kids, or are you going to raise them religious? Or not? I mean, just the amount of data.
Not able to use like the OnlyFans thing against her because she doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Questions that come up in a marriage is, I mean, it's 500 a day. And if you see the world differently, then that's a recipe for disaster. So I actually think you guys made the right. I think you should end up, if you want to, if you end up marrying somebody who sees the world the way you do.
Yeah.
It would make you a happier marriage in it.
It'd be funny if they did a zoom in on Charlie Kirk, if you had a little note sheet there. And like at the beginning of the panel, when they introduced their jobs, he just had like a whore and like non columns. And if they said OnlyFans, he just notched it down. So he like knew which each one was.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he did that in his head.
Yeah.
What if it was just one issue? Like if I'm assuming that you're anti-choice, right? Or pro-life?
Yeah, pro-life.
Okay, so if your wife is not pro-life, but everything else you guys agree, would that be a deal breaker for you?
That one would be a deal breaker, yeah, because that's not like tax.
What would you prefer to call it? What do you think is more accurate, anti-choice or pro-life?
I think we should just call both of them by what they want to call themselves because it's fine. Like pro-life, pro-choice, just
doesn't really matter.
Because whenever people say pro-choice, anti-choice, pro-life, pro-abortion, like it doesn't, or pro-abortion, anti-abortion is probably fine.
Yeah, I'd prefer that.
Everyone knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's not like, hey, I believe in a 35% tax rate and I believe in a 20% tax rate.
It's like philosophical variance.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's correct.
What do you mean? Is it?
Who's this Michaelis guy trying to get in here? That's like me, like that one on that one episode. Like, was it Body Counts too?
That was the first one you came on a video.
No.
Yeah.
Like no. I mean, there was one where like we were like recording.
Yeah, where you jumped on.
Yeah. That wasn't the first one I was a part of.
On video?
Yeah, no.
You sure?
I was a part of that before, but remember we didn't have enough mics, so I didn't come on. I was like, yeah, no, it's no big deal because we want to have Maya and Anna on.
Yeah.
So it's like you, Maya, Hannah, Ethan, and you. Right? You said you twice, but yeah, then I came on. I was in the back. Like, yeah,
that's a good podcast. You guys should watch that one.
It is good. Quality's not great, but a lot of our old stuff is still good.
Sure, we can take a quick look at it.
Always bad.
Hey, this is the graph you found.
Oh yeah, it's a great graph.
Non-sarcastically, I'd love to learn why do you think that trend is?
I think it's because one side.
The trend that he's referencing is he's asking why is it that women are trending upward, so more liberal, and why? Well, I'm not saying upward and downward like they're bad things, but like trending upward liberally for women and downward conservatively for men.
Do you have an analysis of that before they give their answers, so it won't be like pre-watched?
Yeah, sure. I think that it makes sense based on like the way that we've been talking about men for like the last 15 years. Like men have been getting shit on for the last 15 years. Some rightfully so, some others, like all the like the kill all men, like I hate all men kind of stuff is.
I don't know if I've heard kill all men.
I've heard that before.
Really?
Yeah. But I mean, maybe I've just seen more extreme spaces than you have. Yeah. But it's like, and I don't think that's like the entire argument at all. But like there's been like a hate towards men for like the last 15 years. So I get why like a conservative why someone would turn conservative when it feels like the conservative people are like opening their arms to you and saying like, we don't hate you because of this, you know, like you come join us, it's okay. So I think that totally makes sense.
I hate the cyclical nature of these things, and I see it on Instagram all the time, where it'll be like women went way too far, and like leftists in particular about like fuck men, like men all suck, and now you see men like on social media going like super misogynistic
women,
now.
yeah.
It's like it's so predictable.
I just
and
hate that. Like
just-
it's like, why do you
jeez.
have to build your political ideology and your worldview off of something like that makes you feel bad?
Can't someone be the bigger person at some point?
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna stay thinking the way that I do, regardless of like an interact. I mean, that's not true. Interactions are gonna change like my perspective slightly, but I'm always gonna like step back and realize like that interaction like it shouldn't affect the way that I think about the world. You know, like if like I'm talking to a girl who calls me like, or if I'm talking to a girl and like they say like I hate all men, like men are trash. You know, like I'm not gonna let that like affect me, and then in turn like I say okay, yeah, now I hate all women, you know. Like it's just such a bad way to go about politics, and it's like a weak way to go about politics, you know. It's like you're hurt by it, so now you're going to go in the complete opposite direction.
You got to be a powerful person to get past that, though, especially if you're like a real oppressed group that has to deal with that shit all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Wait, okay, so left is I'm not like
that's
a huge
okay.
politics
That's all right.
person.
So young women are getting more in like the Joe Biden direction of the Democrat Party,
Okay,
or
that's what I
progressive,
figured. Okay.
and young men are coming more, you could say, in the
Like
Trump
Okay.
conservative direction.
I think it's more of that reason because
Do you know why Republicans never call it the Democratic Party? They always call it the Democrat Party.
Why?
They did branding research in the 90s.
Oh, is it because Democratic is a good thing?
It's a good thing, and also Democrat ends with rat. And they found there's an association there.
Really?
So if you pay attention to Republicans, they'll always call it the Democrat Party, even though that's not their official name.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Republican Party.
Try
it.
it.
Not the Republican Party.
as obviously the Biden side or whatever you want to say, that side has more of like women's like rights and stuff. So obviously like, well, not right now, but like just in general, like that the ideas of like.
What do you mean not right now?
She's just probably uninformed and hates Biden and is stupid.
Yeah,
that'd be my guess.
Yeah, no, that's actually probably a pretty sound analysis.
That side have more like pro women things, and the other side really doesn't. So I think that's why.
I'm gonna ask my.
That actually just doesn't even make that kind of like pisses me off because like Trump like is said like he's the reason why Roe vs. Wade got overturned, and like Biden's talking about like the danger of him coming back to being president because then like he can make something more official.
That's why centrists are the ultimate most lazy people in the world.
Yeah, because it's all just like sitting on the couch politics, you know, like watching things like
they're all the same. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's like
this shit does affect you.
Yeah.
Progressive organizer. Why do you think? Because it's something that
I personally don't think it's very valuable to ask people to label themselves politically, mostly because if somebody does that, what I want them to do is like write it down on a piece of paper and then crumple it up and throw it away. And usually just go issue by issue, because I found that when you ask people what they mean by a conservative or whatever, like Pixie was saying earlier, sometimes they'll say, oh, like low taxes, small government or whatever. But these are very nebulous terms. But when you actually get into it, maybe they describe themselves as conservative but more the libertarian type. So they might be pro-choice still. They might actually be interested in like a less interventionist like foreign policy. And then at that point, those are some like liberal tenets to me. So I don't think it's very useful to even try to like have people do that. Or you might even find some liberals that are like anti-union, for example. Yeah.
Nick, what?
We had like an audio issue for a moment, but it seems okay for now.
Oh, okay. Audio issue?
Yeah, there was some echo. It did have the echo. I told you it wasn't us.
AB Check, thank you for gifted 50 memberships. Hold that thought, everybody. Chat, one in the chat if the audio is okay. One in the chat if the audio is okay. We had an echo?
Yep. It's cleared up.
It's okay now?
Are we able to keep talking or?
Yeah, no, they can hear us, but apparently there's some reports that we're reverb issue. It's happened once at the beginning of the show and once just now, no complaints. Is the chat, is it fine?
We're good now.
Okay, we're good. Sorry, go ahead.
So I was gonna say, personally, I think there has been like a big push to like radicalize young men online. You see this with the Tates, you see this in some other forms of media. So I think young men in particular have been very, what is it called? Specialized. You got like these.
It's also like it's really easy to track. Like you can like observe like the priming that like young men who haven't like been alive for a while and have only been living through a time when like they've been told like that you're bad just for being a man. Like it makes sense why like young boys are the most radicalized, you know?
For sure. Yeah.
Giant propaganda centers and networks focusing on trying to radicalize them in a way that they haven't necessarily put the equal focus on women. So I do think that there's been a lot of like online radicalization going on. I also think, like personally, I'm a feminist. I think there has like feminism has kind of left men behind and kind of has not given them the answers that a lot of them are necessarily seeking. So then they turn into like these like more of what I would call toxic figures instead for guidance. So that's my answer when it comes to like this increased like radicalization.
What could conservatives do better to reach young women?
What could
I mean,
conservatives?
it's not a trap question. I'm honestly curious.
I I kind of don't want to give you that. Well, I'll give you the answer.
Oh, it's a secret recipe.
No, I'll give it. I'm
You're going to get it in front of 5 million people.
No, but I think a lot of conservatives really villainize young women and like the choices that they take. You see this not in this particular podcast necessarily, but there's some that are more extreme than this that
Yeah, it probably happens in this podcast.
We'll see.
really focus on like shaming women or putting some like basically cultural hypocrisy, like saying it's okay for men to be promiscuous but women aren't.
Grid One Motorsports donated $200.
Hey, thank you,
I
Grid
would
One.
not say young men have been radicalized. I would say that young men are being reminded they are men and not women, and that real men value women because we are not equal.
Yo, thank you, Grid One. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Pixie. And if you can't make your point quickly, because I do want to bring in everybody else so they can answer the original question. Go ahead.
Yeah, but long story short, I think I'm
gonna like to watch my arc of being more like, I'm never gonna like yell at anyone for being like Republican or anything, but I am gonna call them like stupid every now and then. And I want to watch my arc where like I start to like just chill.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm just so fucking sick of these misogynists, man.
Yeah, it gets so tiresome.
They're just as bad as like the fucking I hate all men feminists.
Yeah, it's literally the exact same thing.
Yeah,
just in the other direction.
not be hypocritical about how we treat men and women and not necessarily like shaming women for their past or how they currently are is probably a better way to reach to them, in my humble opinion.
Okay, so honestly, I'm not too educated on politics that I can say on one thing.
Sure.
But I do think that my views do lean more progressive. But again, I'm not too educated on the topic. But I think I could date someone. I have dated someone who was conservative. But for me, it's more there's make or breaks, like you were saying about, if your wife was, pro-choice and you are not, that would be something that I could be like, oh, that's where I draw the line. Just certain things that, morally, I could not be with someone who had those views.
What about you?
I'm not really big into politics either. I don't really understand it. All I know is that I'm pro-choice. I like equality. But yeah, I don't know. I do agree though that your partner, you need to have the like similar mindset. So it might be a bit difficult if I was to be with somebody that had a very strong political opinion. Usually I just go for people that are quite open-minded and chill. But I think I could be open still because I like to learn new things when I'm with partners. So it could open my mind even a bit more and I could probably learn about politics then.
Molly, what about you?
Well, I agree with what you said. I've actually, my ex-boyfriend was very prominent in politics and he's very conservative. And I'm not at all. So that was definitely like an interesting dynamic. But I think overall we really respected each other's perspective. And I don't think that like conservatives are evil or like they have like a bad agenda. I just personally I don't agree with what they would decide for me, and so I think that in a relationship when you're with someone that shares different values, it would be extremely hard to be married to someone for the rest of your life. It's doable, especially if you have that type of curiosity with the other person, but I for sure would want to be with someone who shares my kind of openness as well.
Okay. And then Charlie, I think you kind of maybe already went over it, but I mean, do you have any thoughts on, do you think it's a better idea for people when it comes to relationships or marriage to, I mean, I think I have a sense of what your answer would be, but to marry someone who shares their same political beliefs and values.
Don't try to change your partner. That's a bad idea.
Agree.
Yeah, don't try to change your partner.
Aaron, you said earlier your boyfriend.
I don't know if I agree with that. Do you think it's like fine if like you kind of want to change your partner and your partner wants to change you? I think that you both are growing and like a little bit of like chiseling away at your partner isn't a bad thing as long as like it's relatively consensual,
I think it's kind of creepy. I mean, if you're talking about
well, I don't mean like manipulative changing. Like, it's like if you want to like change an opinion of your partner, that is you changing the way your partner thinks.
Yeah, I like an opinion, but like I just don't like the idea of like, oh, I can fix her or like I can fix him.
Yeah, no, that shit's stupid. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about like you're both changing together. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think you like.
Oh, here's what it is. I think because I've been in a relationship for about a year, so maybe I can talk about this a bit more than other hosts of this podcast. But I think that if you, whatever level you're willing to change, it's fine to expect that from your partner. But I think it's sick if like you are completely set in your ways and you're like, I'm going to fix them to be like me or to be compatible to me. You're going to grow and change in a relationship. That's part of the beauty of it. You just have to be open to doing it yourself as well.
Yeah, I agree.
You said he's not conservative, but he's liberal and you're much further left or leftist. And you said you would, when it comes to perhaps people, you would be friends with someone who's maybe more conservative, so you can shift them more left.
I said that tongue in cheek, but
I was going to ask you, have you shifted your boyfriend more left?
I wish.
Okay, so he's pretty firm in his
he's firmly planted in his filthy liberalism, but I love him in spite of that.
I see. Okay, got it.
But we align on a lot of social issues. So if we want to create a dichotomy of like social and then economic issues, I feel like the economic issues is primarily where we have disagreement. And the social issues, those tend to be I feel like the most polarizing and contentious. So if we had more disagreement there, we probably would not be able to be in a relationship together harmoniously. So
okay, I see.
But friends, yeah, I'm open to radicalizing them, sure.
Okay, got it. So I'm curious, who here considers themselves a feminist? Maybe just show of hands. Are you a feminist? That's it? Just Aaron and Pixie? Molly? A little bit? Okay. All right. So Charlie, we've got some feminists here. What do you think of feminism?
I want them to define the term first because there's no use in me
Sure.
giving thoughts on an abstract concept.
Sure.
So-
I'm all ears.
What's your sense? How do you define feminism?
Feminism is just simply the advocacy of equality, both social, political, economic, on the basis of all genders everywhere. So that's what feminism is to me.
You concur?
Yeah, like feminism isn't like let's lift up women and shit on men. It's the equality of all genders.
I mean, I think I agree with what she said. I'm a feminist by that definition of feminism.
But that is the definition of feminism.
Well, it's like saying conservative. Like it's so amorphous. It can mean anything to anyone, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm
But
sure
I
that's
think a
not
lot
what
of-
it means to some people.
I know. I agree that like colloquially, some people might take it differently, but like feminism is by
I think that is the
definition
textbook
equality
of
of the
it, and
genders.
I agree with that. But the weird thing is, like, it would be like,
And I do think that like an academic definition, which is feminism, is an academic
yeah,
definition.
but like, what if say you believed in racial equality, right? And that was called blackism.
Yeah.
It's a
Obviously,
really
yeah,
weird
it does look
etymology.
weird. I do
right?
agree
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, no, I totally understand why people like might get triggered by the word feminism, because like if you called like equality of the races,
I mean, we can
blackism,
look it up
like-
right now. Like, my understanding is it means like the advancement of women, right?
No, it is the equality of all genders. I can pull it up for you. Though. Feminism definition. All right, I'll bring that over. One sec. Oh yeah, so feminism, the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes.
Yeah, so that's the
Okay.
dictionary. But then when you look at the Wikipedia, it's like that's a lot more amorphous, right?
Yeah. But it is the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes, which I thought it wasn't
a
there.
term. Is there
Masculinism?
an equivalent for that?
Maybe. Let's see. Masculinism. Oops. Masculinism may vary.
Okay, so that is.
It's probably a new term.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, back to that.
Concur.
I concur.
You concur?
Concurred.
Okay.
I concur.
So you want me to
Do you,
thought
do
on
you
that?
agree
or?
with their definition of feminism?
I mean, that would probably be the most agreed upon definition. So I do believe in equality under the law, obviously. I believe in equality for representation or enfranchisement to be able to vote, obviously. But you said economic equality. That's interesting. Do you think that female models and male models should be paid the same by law?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we should make female actresses and models be paid less because they earn about 20 times more than men.
I think when
So
you get
women
to,
would get a pay cut. You're
I
okay
think
with
when
that?
it comes to creative fields like that, it's going to be very difficult to look at it on the basis of like sex or gender, how you would pay somebody, because that's going to have so many more factors than simply that. But if we're talking about equal economic opportunities, like for example, should like a man and woman doing the exact same position at a corporate office be paid the same if they're doing the same amount of work? Then
Well, it
yes.
depends on what they study, depends how long they've been there, it depends if they're equally as good at the job. It depends
But all else being
hold
equal,
on.
I'm saying if all of
Hold
those
on.
things are equal, can we at least agree they should be
Yeah,
paid the same?
that's already the law. So you're not allowed to discriminate based on gender or sex based on a law passed in the 1970s.
Right, yeah.
However, what is now being tried to be passed through other movements is to try to swoop in and say, regardless of qualifications, how often you ask for a raise. So I'll ask the question, why do you think, for example, the average male, it looks as if they earn more than an average woman in a city? Is it because of sexism or other factors?
I think sometimes implicit bias can be one factor among many, but like all the things that you mentioned earlier, different qualifications, different business acumen, skills, work output, numbers of hours worked could all be things that impact pay.
Right. So
and like studies that like focus on the gaps between men and women, like do make note of these differences.
Okay, this is technically Charlie, do you have a response?
No, I
Just did
do. I
100
want to actually
subs.
get back to even more of a fundamental question. And I'm sorry I didn't ask this. Sure. What is a woman?
It's so stupid. They have to ask it every time.
Yeah, that's not even really relevant to what they're talking about.
I know, but it's just like, okay, I might not have owned her on this last one, so what is a woman?
Yeah, because she kind of handled that pretty well.
Yeah, she did.
A woman is somebody who presents as our social conception of womanhood,
So you,
acts in such a way.
so Pixie, just can you answer that question
Yeah, and he's gonna make the point, but it's circular, it's meaningless. what
Yeah,
she's gonna
exactly.
say.
without using the word woman or womanhood?
It's because basically it would be a functional definition. So as a society, we have an understanding of what woman is.
What
It's
is
a
that?
man.
Yeah, that's
I am a
basically.
man.
Well then.
X,
Can you
Y,
elaborate?
XY chromosomes.
Okay, but the problem with that is that I didn't check your chromosomes before coming in here and calling you a man, and you didn't check my chromosomes before coming in here
Or genitals.
or genitals calling me a woman.
So let me just
I do feel like over the last couple of years, the pro-trans people have gotten a lot better at answering that question, like with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which I think is downstream from like Destiny and Vosh and shit.
Yeah, because that's what's important is like knowing like what you're even advocating for, you know?
Yeah.
Like you have to know like the definitions of these things. Like, and I agree with that definition. I think like a woman is someone who presents as a woman, essentially.
Yeah, but I mean, you understand it's meaningless. But the problem the conservatives
I
have.
don't think it's meaningless.
It is meaningless
How's it meaningless?
because it uses the own definition. It uses the word woman to define woman.
Okay, what's the definition of a woman to you then? If not that,
No, I think that's an okay definition. I'm just
so
saying.
then why is it meaningless if you agree with it? Do you just are fine with agreeing with a meaningless definition?
Because I don't think we have a good definition of it. In the same way, like how
Wait, I
like,
totally think it's a good definition.
like what is it? What is a chair?
What is a chair? A chair is something that presents as a chair.
Yeah, exactly. Like all our definitions are not going to be great definitions.
Yeah, I agree, but
sort of
that's what
thing.
you're talking about as a functional definition.
But then you could look at something like what is a molecule, and that's something that you can more rigidly define. And then there's a set of things that are more like social constructs.
Yeah,
I'm saying woman is part of that, so there's not going to be a great definition, but that's not unique to woman. That's
sure, but I don't think I don't think it's fair to say that's a meaningless definition. I think it works.
Well, could you use that definition to show me everything that is a woman and everything that isn't a woman?
Probably not 100% accuracy.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like it's not a definition that could be.
But I think there's a difference
perfectly
between it
used.
being like 100% accurate versus being accurate majority of the time.
But I don't think that's the definition that you're using to determine who and what are women.
I know, but I'm just arguing against the term, the use of it being meaningless. Like I think there is meaning in it.
Okay, well, let's run it down then. So
Okay.
give me your definition again.
That I think someone who
woman?
presents as a woman.
And when you say they present as a woman, what does a woman mean there?
It means like that someone like in society like follows like so that like someone that has the social characteristics of what we have deemed in society as a woman.
And what does that mean when you say woman there?
Generally, it's like long hair, like high voice, like women attire.
Could
like,
you not have those things and be a woman?
Yeah, you could.
Could you have those things and not be a woman?
Yeah.
So that's the problem with the
I know,
definition.
but I agreed with you already. I said it's not going to work 100% of the time. I agreed with that. I was just saying like I don't think the definition is meaningless.
I think that generally we just let people. Yeah, it's vibes mostly.
It is vibes.
Yeah. It's not meaningless. It's just like circular.
Sure, yeah, it is circular, but I think it's still functionally accurate, which is what's functional definition.
Okay.
Play this out. So first of all, you can't give me a definition without using the word woman.
That's a functional definition. Yeah, sure. Do you know what functional
Yeah,
definitions are?
I'm very well aware, and you should have a functional definition for the most important question in civilization,
No,
right?
well, the point of a functional definitions are a definition that is by the function of something. So, like for example,
No, there's an
one
objective
equals
definition.
one is one is a function of one. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do. So then, can you give me an objective, a functional, utilitarian, any sort of biological definition of what a woman is? Because how can we debate feminism if we can't agree what a woman is?
I would even I feel like Pixie's definition absolutely satisfies the definition of what constitutes womanhood, but I would define it only slightly differently, which is that it's a person who performs a set of social roles that are typically associated with feminine characteristics, but not necessarily, because there are even cis women who fall outside of this, and we still consider them women nonetheless, like butch lesbians, for example.
I think the best definition would be a woman is someone who holds characteristics that are typically associated with females.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the best definition.
Yeah, but that wouldn't apply under every circumstance, would it though, right? In which way it would be just as meaningless as what you consider the first definition?
I think it's less meaningless because you're not using the word woman in the definition, so you don't fall into an infinite regression, right?
Yeah. So it does look a little bit better, I agree.
It refers to something that can be measured.
Yeah.
Example are women that exhibit very masculine characteristics, but nonetheless society understands them to be women. So
I find cis to be a very offensive word, by the way. I don't know how you feel.
He's doing the Elon Musk thing. Cis is a slur.
Did Elon Musk say that?
Elon Musk tweeted, "Cis is a slur." It's so funny.
About the cis.
I hate my sister.
I don't think
it's hate speech, to be honest.
I didn't mean to trigger you, Brian. I would have given you a trigger warning before if I
So
know.
do you think anyone can become a woman?
Yep, but not anyone will.
Okay, so then at what point do they become a woman?
It will depend on where they are in their gender transition for the
Does
most
it
part.
require drugs to become a woman?
No.
Personally, I think it's a mindset. It's a spiritual energy. It's the vibe that you give off. You know, like
The vibe. Before we continue on, I want to just give everyone an opportunity to answer Charlie. No, totally fine.
The vibe. Okay, carry on because triggered him.
Fine. To answer Charlie's question, I know you two had already answered. What is a woman? Starting with you, we'll go around the table. Go ahead.
Dude, why do you derail that? It was interesting, and now you like brought it off to like ask everyone what is a woman again. Like,
yeah,
that's just not even good podcast hosting. Like, I would rather see them flesh it out.
Yeah,
I don't even think the average viewer who wants to see people get shit on.
Actually, do you think he's getting like numbers and like don't do a segment for more than this amount of time?
I don't think so.
Horrible.
I think maybe like he knows that. Actually, I take it away. Maybe I do like that more, and maybe his viewers do want to just see women get shit on.
Okay, yeah,
and that's what he's doing.
Skip me.
We'll come back to it.
I'm a woman.
That's the best answer. That's the one that Ketanji Brown Jackson could have given in front of the Senate.
So come back to you?
Yeah, come back to me. Come back to me. Let me
Sure,
show you
okay,
something.
go ahead.
Same. I'm a woman.
What is a woman?
Like I don't.
What about you? Can I have you tilt your mic down just
Yeah,
a tad?
of course.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Right there.
Yeah.
I'm a woman, but I also do think that a woman is someone who identifies as a woman, and that's that.
Horrible answer.
I mean, theoretically, it's someone who's born with a womb, but the generation obviously has proven that
Both.
men can turn into women. So I'm not just
Such a sick accent, though, right? You know, like someone who identifies as someone who's born of the womb, but
she British?
I think it's Irish.
Ireland
could be wrong.
She's from Ireland.
Ireland. It might be like a different area in Ireland, or it might be a different type
Oh,
of dude. Even with
Do you want to listen to Wonderwall?
Nice. I'm Barry Keoghan.
Including that, I still think that they should be perceived as what they're portraying themselves as. But technically, I still think trans girls.
He's saying yes, not to her definition, but to the 49ers.
Yeah, I just want $100. So I don't even care who wins this debate.
They are a version of a man, but they can still be classed as a woman, which is a bit tricky. But yeah.
Molly?
I'll say the same answer. I think what constitutes as a woman is the energy that you give off and that you want to put out into the world.
So if being a woman or female is a mindset, can your age also be a mindset? Can you choose to be, can you just say I feel 14, which is a classifiable mental condition, by the way,
So I will say, yes, I know people that act way younger than they actually are, and they love acting way younger than they actually are. And I know people that, like act way older than they are, and they, and they pride themselves in that. And I think.
Okay, fair enough. So if a 35-year-old man claims he's 14, should we have any problem if he wants to have sex with another 14-year-old?
No. I'm not saying that you should.
Probably should have a problem. I think.
No, I'm not saying that they should be able to have sex, but they can
who's to say he's
state
not
I
14?
feel 14.
Right.
They can state that.
Grid One Motorsports donated $200. The man who owns it paid himself 1.3 mil a day last year.
I just want to clarify. I forgot what I bet on. I bet on the Niners winning the Super Bowl. So I can cash out now for $17, or I can let it ride into Kansas City and potentially win $100. So comment down below what I should do, because I got 2 weeks.
He loves feminism.
Oh, okay.
Today, men acting female can be better women than real women. Feminism has failed you. How can the patriarchy help you today?
That was beautiful, Grid One. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, he's nice. So going back.
But if your identity is an energy or a feeling that can change, why would it be wrong for a 35-year-old to say he's 14?
Because
Therefore,
he's not.
I was just telling our loyal fans here. So I forgot what I bet on. I bet on them winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I can either cash out now for a $20 gain, or I can let it ride into Kansas City for $100 on the line.
And that all depends on if you still believe in the conspiracy theory.
That's rigged.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I said, comment down below what I should do. I got 2 weeks. So
Guarantee no one's commenting.
but then how is someone who has male parts a woman?
Other than-
Is
I
not a
feel like
woman.
Other than Trump 2024.
yeah, all you Trump supporters must watch football. You must watch football. You probably are Niners fans because you hate Taylor Swift. Like, what should I do?
I don't know if they're an hour into it, but hopefully they are.
We'll see.
Two different
It's
things.
because you
It's a
can't go
mindset,
back
isn't
in
it?
time.
Your age isn't a mindset.
We have it like right now. Let's say, comment down below if you're watching this in the future, because when we're all big and you've gone through and looked at our past videos, comment that.
But then why is your sex or your gender a mindset and your age isn't?
That's the most pathetic thing I've ever heard someone say on a podcast.
No. Mr. Beast did that.
Did he?
Yeah.
No, good for him.
I don't know which one is which one of you could probably.
I know you don't want to rehash that one. That debate lasted 9 minutes.
He did it. He did it, and so did 900,000 other people who no one knows the fuck they are right now.
Actually, a lot of people know who we are.
190, dude.
Is it 189?
Probably. Just bring back to Charlie Kirk.
Say that sex and
Do you
gender
agree?
is
At least acknowledge that sex and gender are two separate
Right,
things.
that's what I was gonna
There are
say.
0 genders, 2 sexes, and infinite personalities.
Okay.
Gender doesn't exist.
What do you mean?
Okay.
Sex does. So the parts you're born with is who you are.
How does gender?
Wait, what does he mean gender doesn't exist?
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
That's like a new take.
exist?
It's a 1960s clinical term, largely made out of the Academy of John
Clinical?
Money and Alfred Kinsey and many postmodern child psychiatrists, many of whom, by the way, were not really great people, but we don't have to go into that. But gender is a new term of the last 50 or 60 years.
Yeah, but it still exists.
But personalities exist. We can agree with that. Proclivities or
Is what?
interests or likes exist.
Since you're
Wait, that's why he's
gender,
leaving?
if you're a woman or a man,
That's
it's
why
your
Brian
gender, it is your
left.
personality.
No, he's saying then those people aren't great people. It's because they stole his car.
Oh, it's just some stupid shit like that.
Well, yeah, the goal, or what used to be the case, is the vast majority, 99.9% of all people, their biology and their reality, or how they viewed their reality, I should say, were in alignment. And now that's not so much the case. So people are, first of all, there's many elements to this. People are told that they can become something they can't. So they go on a very, very damaging, self-destructive pattern of medical interventions that even if you're pro-trans, you have to acknowledge that hysterectomy at age 17 is not exactly an easy surgery.
I don't think anyone at 17 should be altering their
Oh,
body. But
No, I agree.
Yeah.
It's happening right now. Thousands of young kids across the country are getting what is called gender affirming care.
For the record, thousands of children across the country are not. 5,000 in like the last 5 years have done gender affirming care.
Gender affirming care, but it's
Care
irreversible.
or
damage.
surgeries?
Both. So
And also, yeah, it's not even surgery. It's like 5,000 people have done gender affirming care. So it's like not even that amount. That amount of people is way less than the actual surgical procedures.
blockers and hormone
There's
blockers.
thousands of kids that are getting hysterectomies across the United States.
No, thousands of kids are getting puberty blockers or hormone blockers or puberty blockers. Probably more, tens of thousands.
You could stop using those.
And as far as breast reduction surgery or hysterectomies, we don't know the number, but I'll even say it's probably only a couple dozen. It's probably, you're right, it's probably not thousands.
Right.
But and we don't know the exact numbers, but an estimate is anywhere between 10 to 15,000 minors, and is growing, are currently receiving monthly doses.
That's not true. By the way. It was like 5,000 like a year ago, so there's no way 10,000.
It's possible.
I think
right?
10,000 in the last year when it was 5,000 in the last 5 years.
Also, is it 5,000?
It's really low.
Oh, 5,000 within 5 years.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said 5,000 last year, so it couldn't
No,
be
no,
10,000
no.
this year.
5,000 within the last 5 years.
Yeah, they overblow this shit massively.
Of hormone replacement.
And they just hope that someone doesn't know their shit.
Yeah, and that's also like ultimately a deflection by us because we're not addressing the question of is it good or bad. But
yeah, I agree.
Theory, estrogenic therapy.
Yeah, but you can stop those and be like.
Well, that's the question, right? There's a lot of detransitioners that are speaking out that are not able to restart. Puberty is not an assembly line that you could just push a button and restart. That is a increasingly disproven scientific theory right now. Chloe Cole is one of the most famous detransitioners who she's in her 20s and she was sold a bill of goods. And when she was 16, she said, I think I'm a man. And she went on a very, very aggressive regimen of hormone blockers and puberty blockers. And she has huge regret. And hopefully one day she'll be able to have children again. But it gets back.
Why do they use examples like that when you could also probably point to like the much greater amount of examples of people who have had successful transitions?
you know what, Milo Yiannopoulos?
Yeah.
I remember he used to say this stat a lot that was like 40% of trans people attempt suicide, and that number doesn't change after transition. Kind of implying that they're like mentally ill.
Yeah.
And then I was watching a Voss stream one time, and he pointed to this study that said that's true. And then if there's one supportive friend or family member in the life for the trans person, that number drops from 40% to like 3%.
Yeah, it's all how society will interact
Yeah.
with that person. There's
Yeah.
just not societally acceptable to be a trans person.
Yeah, exactly.
To a question of so I'm just making a point though that these ideas have consequences. It's more than just a silly question. Oh, what is a woman? That if you can't answer it, or at the very least say that you should allow minors to become adults before they make these decisions.
Dude, at least we make sure that we remove the monitor from our shot. Look at the right shot. These guys' whole ass monitor right there.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's awful.
Yeah.
And
dude, Brian, just quit, dude.
Yeah.
You hate doing this.
We'll take the show over. We'll give it a better name.
The Void Production.
We keep the Asian girl who sits there.
Yeah, like that's
fine.
We'll keep her there.
We'll meet in the middle.
We'll bring Charlie Kirk on. We'll bring all your friends on. You can come on every now and then just to like sit and watch.
Bring an Atlas. We play GeoGuessr.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're into that.
Clearly, you hate what you're doing.
Yeah.
And this is not a small thing. The quote unquote gender affirming care. We know that in California you have to be 18
Also, there's nothing on his fucking screen.
Yeah,
it's black.
It is
what
black.
Is he pretend? What's
No,
he pretending to do?
To be fair, it is probably the angle.
It just looks black.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it because the joke was better.
Maybe it's blurred.
Or he's got one of the, like the phones that have like the protector screen on it. So you can't see from certain angles.
I do think it's funnier though if there's nothing on there.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to respond. Yeah, I'm sorry.
old to get a tattoo, and yet 14-year-olds can go to what we call a doctor and get a highly aggressive.
It is way funnier because it's just hate. No, it'd be funnier if he had like Minecraft on.
It'd be funnier if he had like Pong on.
They were just not doing it.
We just like lose power for a second.
Yeah, I thought I was about to have a thing. Shit freaked me out.
Hormone replacement therapy treatment, sometimes without even notifying their parent. And all of these are ramifications of the inability to answer.
Because it is a storm right now. Comment in the future if you got to this point, you're watching it in a storm as well.
Simple biological question.
I would be interested.
Comment in the future if you're watching this and you're Charlie Kirk.
Interested in seeing your exact like study or citation for when it comes to like puberty blockers, because I know a lot of people, or not a lot of people, there's a lot of people who end up on puberty blockers not because they're necessarily trans, but because they're going through puberty too early, and there are clear like negative side effects and consequences of, let's say, like a 10-year-old girl getting her period.
That's a separate. You're right.
Yeah, but it's used on cis children. I think like what you're talking about is precocious puberty.
But it's not used on perfectly healthy, physically able bodies.
Yeah, Ryan told me that.
So there's a great book that I guess.
Modest Hikima donated $200. Charlie, sorry you had to travel to California for the show. My boy did you dirty by putting you next to the demon. WTF. Props on the new Rick Rickson.
Well, maybe you are a demon.
Pixie, you are brain dead. Sad.
All right, Modest Hikima, good to see you.
I'll reference one book, and she's a non-political doctor. Her name is Dr. Miriam Grossman. It's a book called Lost in Transnation. She has treated, not just theorized. She's a clinician and a physician, not just someone who writes abstract medical journals. And she is one of the most outspoken people against what is called gender affirming care. And she is treating hundreds of kids that are now.
So I know detransitioners exist, but what do you say to the thousands of trans people?
Do you find it interesting that these people only quote scientists that agree with them,
and not like the 99% of people that disagree?
Yeah, it's like isn't that kind of interesting? Do you ever think about that, Charlie Kirk?
I think it makes sense.
Like, why do you only listen to science that agrees with you, Charlie Kirk? That's not. You never think about that.
Charlie Kirk. Why do you do that, Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, comment down below.
Charlie Kirk.
people that actually report happiness and being healthy after they receive gender affirming care.
Don't doubt that in the short term, testosterone therapy from someone who has a fair amount of testosterone, it can make you feel confident. It can make you feel better in your skin. That is not a lasting effect, though.
Do you think it is for some people?
Well, the suicide rate, I can't say that word. The self-harm rate after 8 to 10 years actually goes up. It nearly doubles. And we're still studying it. That's the other point, is that I'm not going to throw around a lot of studies here. And they very well might
Maybe one, because he hasn't read any, and two, because most of them would disagree with him.
Why would he even do that as a throwaway line? I'm not going to use data here. I'm just going to lie.
Yeah, it's like, do people never bring data as long as it's like not 100% conclusive? Like, people talk about like studies and will reference them and admit that it is ongoing. Like, you don't talk about studies just because.
Whenever people say there are studies, just say, give me one.
Yeah, give me a name of one.
One or two.
An author. Give me one.
Just give me
They haven't
something.
done any.
Give me something. Yeah, give me something.
Because more often than not, they saw like a Twitter post.
Yeah.
You're right. It might have helped them individually, but let me give you an example. If a medication is on the market and it harms 1 in 250,000 people, for example, Robitussin. You guys ever take Robitussin?
No.
It's a cough thing. It's, they found that one of their lots of Robitussin last week might have been contaminated, and they did a massive recall, right? And it was just a whisper of it, okay? The point that is in medicine, the first rule used to be first do no harm. And the fact
still is, right?
No, they've changed
The
it.
Hippocratic Oath?
They've changed it, yeah.
Who's they?
The American Medical Association and a lot of the medical institutions.
They've
It's similar,
been
but it's
changed
not
by
the
like
same.
woke ideology.
Well, you'd be surprised, actually. The medical industry's been taken over by a lot of radical
All doctors
forces.
are woke now.
Well, for example, I mean, when they were getting monoclonal antibodies in the city of New York, they were prioritizing people based on the color of their skin. Black individuals in New York got monoclonal antibodies above their white counterparts.
Was it based on the color of their skin, or like maybe their background related to like their socioeconomic status?
It was racial. But I don't want to get too deep into that rabbit hole. But the point that
Do you think he doesn't want to get too deep in because like he finds it actually boring, or do you think he doesn't want to get into it because like maybe she'll present too much of a
I think
counter
he was
argument?
fencing well there. So
I think she was doing a good job.
I'm just trying to make is that in medicine in particular, you must have a cautious approach, even if
we should come up with a bunch of debate terms also.
What, like fencing?
Yeah, like, I don't even know what that means.
What's fencing mean? Fencing means that you are.
I think like quick debate.
Fencing means that you have an argument and that's your backyard, and you're building it up really well by fencing.
Oh, I was thinking fencing like this.
Oh, fencing.
Like you make claim deflection, claim deflection, and it was like whoever backs off first seems weaker, kind of
fencing. Okay.
Yeah.
Fencing.
It's like fast.
In the future, if you're watching this,
fast
comment
paced.
down below if you use fencing now.
Yeah. Dude, that'd be so fun to do like a dictionary.
Yeah,
of,
like
or
a
an atlas.
debate dictionary, debate
Yeah,
atlas.
That's a good idea.
We should get Brian to co-sign it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd like him more than what he's doing right now.
there were pluses and positives, which might very well be.
Yeah. Thank you, Hunter, for.
Don't say his name, man.
Yeah, because he's gonna watch us. Yo, Hunter, comment down below if you watch this.
True. If there's even a 1%, a 2% adverse event, you pull the drug immediately because
I didn't say his last name.
You first do no harm. If there's something that is actively damaging a society, and it's now a certifiable fact that we see thousands of young kids are being told that they can transition, when in reality they have other underlying issues that we should address: depression, trauma, anxiety, or they're on the autism spectrum disorder, and they get mislabeled because.
Okay, so Republicans like this always love to say like that there's these real mental
autism spectrum.
I don't know, you might as well some of that shit. But the point, dude, like these guys always reference like mental health issues when they're talking about trans people, but then they will never advocate for like policy that increase funding towards mental health issues.
Yeah, they also do it when school shootings happen. They'll say
it's like mental health, like there's like an epidemic, there's anxiety. Like they all agree with what the left likes to talk about, that there is mental health and that is something that people need to care about. But then when it ever comes to legislation, it's always a no on the floor and there is never increased funding.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Republicans, if you want to deal with these issues and you think mental health is the cause, propose a piece of legislation that increases funding for mental health care.
Or just don't even propose it. Vote yes on the ones that the Democrats propose.
And if you don't like raising taxes, do something like cut taxes on healthcare providers or create some sort of incentives program. But like, just do fucking something.
You guys don't even do the things that you claim that you want to do.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind that much. I'd rather them not do it, because then like it's better in my view. But like you guys aren't even like really that good at doing what you do.
Also, what like if your problem with raising money for mental health care is really that your taxes are going to go up a fraction of a percent, you're tacitly saying you care more about like 0.001% on your taxes than like school shootings and like what you think is this horrible trans epidemic.
Yeah, and they would never say that in response to it, but like let it like the shooting die down, let people care less about it, and then like on the floor. Also, I think they just know majority of the people don't look at like Senate hearings, like congressional hearings. Like they know that most people don't look at when people have voted on things.
On whether a TikTok video or some sort of other thing makes them feel as if they might have a transgender issue when they very well might have other issues that need to be addressed. 1 in 27 men are young boys are autistic. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to
totally fine. I just had a quick question for you two, since you guys had pretty strong positions on this. Can men get pregnant?
Oh, Grid One Motorsports donated $200.
Dude, Grid One Motorsports has donated like 3 times now, and I think I've seen his name in previous things. How much money do you have that you can just give it away this much?
It's probably Hunter.
It's probably Hunter.
He's like, I did 18 interviews.
Yeah, no,
Gotta
we want
spend
to
it
talk-
somewhere.
yeah, exactly.
Numbers. Then honesty requires we first admit that gender dysphoria is a mental condition which should be treated first before any physical treatments are given.
Okay, great. So even within that, so if he believes it needs to be treated, then I'm sure he would agree with like increased funding, right?
Yeah.
Accuracy matters.
All right, Grid One Motorsports.
They no longer
appreciate
call it gender dysphoria, unfortunately. I would
What-
actually make
you know
your
what?
argument for you. They call, they don't even call it a medical condition. They call it, I actually don't even know what it's actually called. Gender dysphoria used to be the clinical term, but
They've changed it since.
so yeah, that's right. But I can go deeper into that. The old way we used to treat this is called watchful waiting, where we believe that puberty was the solution, not the problem. And almost every single case in Europe was actually a pioneer of this, is that when you allow puberty to play its course, these individuals,
Let's just be honest here, okay? I don't know if being trans is a mental disorder or not. I'm not a clinician.
Mhm.
What I do know is it seems that trans people, when they transition, are happier.
Mhm.
And so, like,
Why do you care so much?
what's the concern beyond that? Like, ultimately,
It's on it, like, okay, like people like throw out like homophobic a lot and like
Yeah.
transphobic, and like Tate is famous for saying like, what, transphobic, like I'm scared of them. It's like, no, it's not about you being scared of them, it's about you being scared that you might become something like that. Like homophobic people aren't scared of gay people, they're worried that they might be gay, so
Yeah.
they push outward and hate on like gay things. You know, it's just like you're scared of becoming that. That's the homophobic nature of it.
And also, I think transgender, like transphobia, people see it as a threat to their idea of gender.
Yeah,
You know, because like
But-
being a man is part of yourself, and it's like if that idea erodes, it's like what's left.
exactly.
Because I find it hard to believe that like every Republican is secretly trans. Like,
Yeah, no, I agree
Yeah.
with that. But I mean, like, yeah, like it does not necessarily that you are gay, you are trans. It's like your being is being questioned,
yeah,
and that's what you're scared of.
yeah, the most fundamental parts of you
Yeah.
are not immutable anymore.
they might end up being lesbian or gay, but not transgender. And that's a completely different thing that doesn't require hormones or eventually antidepressants on top of it. I'm sorry, Pixie, you were going to say something.
Yeah, my question was, can men get pregnant?
Two things. I would say if you're a biological male, if we're going to define male through biology or whatever, then no. I do want to push back on some things that I heard earlier.
Well, before you do that, go ahead. Aaron, do you have an answer to that?
I would say yes, because any
Brian doesn't care. He just wants like the clips
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Which I respect. That's what we do.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But like, dude, let her respond to it. Like she wrote down the notes. Like she's coming here to like trying to be prepared. Like I think it's like a little disrespectful.
anybody who has a uterus has the capacity to give birth. So
Also, I might just be a lib. You know, I might be. Okay, you're just like we're just watching Miles be an alcoholic right now. Like he just finished his wine and now he's getting some alcohol more in.
Hey, I don't work tomorrow.
W Riz.
for
Dude, I work at 7. I have to wake up at 7:30.
Oh shit.
That's all right.
example, a trans guy who gets pregnant, yes, would be a man who is pregnant. But if you're talking about a man who is assigned man at birth and does not have a uterus, then no, he doesn't have the ability to get pregnant. You're literally like crazy or what? Do you disagree?
But a lot of women.
So do you want to know why young men are going away from the left? That's why young men are leaving the left.
Why?
Because what you just said is
Because they're uncomfortable acknowledging reality.
what you
That
just-
some trans men can
what-
get pregnant.
What
It's
you
like,
just said is at war with reality and massacring.
a lot of women can't get pregnant
basic
either. So that
vocabulary.
doesn't
Yeah,
define
This is a
women
question.
or
This is a question. You know, I'll let you come in just a sec, Pixie. Which one of you referenced chromosomes? Is that well? You said like, oh, you didn't check our chromosomes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, people understood what a woman was before chromosomes were discovered. So the definition does not require this type of abstraction.
People understood what a woman was on the basis of the societal norms at the time, generally speaking.
Yeah, that's like he set her up really. Like I don't think he knew that he set her up, but he said like people did it before chromosomes. So that means you agree that it's not a part of the definition at all then, right?
Yeah, actually back that up. What was his point there?
His point was okay.
People referenced chromosomes. Is that well? You said like, oh, you didn't check our chromosomes,
Yeah.
right? Well, people understood what a woman was before chromosomes were discovered. So the definition does not require this type of abstraction.
Like that's horrible. You just made the argument that it
Yeah,
is
what-
that
how
it
could
is
that
a
even-
societal
How do you
construction.
even think that would benefit?
I have no idea. He was trying to talk about that, but it's like, yeah, okay. So then you just admitted that before we even knew what chromosomes were, we knew what a woman looked like and we knew what a man
Yeah.
what a male looked like.
I mean, I can see like the idea of appealing to something else, like biblical text or something, and saying, "Oh, it's not chromosomes, it's this." But that's just a blanket defeating of something that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, Brian, bad move, dude.
People understood what
I like to think of Brian as our friend.
Yeah, and he's not.
He's not our friend.
a woman was on the basis of the societal norms at the time, generally speaking, right?
Well, it's more
Which is my
precisely. It's about
answer,
like the gonads. If you're at any point in your life going to produce large gametes, then you're a woman.
How society, at least most societies as well, outside of like Western as well, but even Western, we can make this argument. What they would look at is the way that a person is like necessarily performing. So what is their role? That's why you have like the idea of like non-binary, third gender, et cetera, because there have been people also who have not performed their role as like a male or female. So they're put
Sure.
into the third category, third sex, whatever.
Okay.
So I would argue that for the vast majority of human histories and societies, what they look at is what is your performance, and that maps onto what we do now because we don't really look at biology, we look at how people act,
You
and
said-
that's why. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
That's why we also the terms less manly. He's less of a man than him, or
Let me put you on the spot here. Okay?
Sure.
What do you think about non-binary as an identity? Do you think that is as legitimate of an identity as being a trans woman or a trans man?
Yeah, I think it's reasonable. It's
Mhm.
like you don't conform to either of the two societal constructs.
Mhm.
You know, so you're just not binary. You don't fit in.
Fair enough.
Or she's not that womanly. Makes sense. If gender was truly a binary, those words would make no sense. It would be like cat and not cat. That doesn't, you can't have a in between really. And the same thing applies for gender. There is a spectrum there. That's why the words less womanly, more manly, less manly makes sense to us.
And all of those things are fluid throughout time. Like what constituted like masculine tendencies or behaviors will be different now than it was several years ago. Or even like things like colors. Like for example, pink used to be considered a masculine color.
I really wish you would push up her glasses.
Yeah, I think
Like they're hanging way too low.
It's an aesthetic, probably.
I think she wears glasses though, like she needs them, but like I don't.
What if you had contacts in and then you had glasses down here?
So you could
for
still have the aesthetic?
Yeah.
Just so you could have the aesthetic because you know they wouldn't work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be so stupid.
Pink is no longer really considered a masculine color; it's considered a feminine color. So there was never anything inherently masculine about the color blue or the color pink or anything like that. That could always change at any given point in time.
Do you think that male brains and female
Notice that Brian didn't respond to that. I just want to point that out.
brains are men and women brains?
He's looking at his blank screen. Like he must get high before this or something. Like how do you pass the time, man?
I think he's just
she
hanging.
must be high. Like what are you doing?
I think you're just hanging out.
They're different, wired differently.
There are differences between male and female.
But I wonder if the guests are the ones like, "Yo, Brian, you trying to do this today?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm done."
It'd be great if
brain.
he stopped the show like every like 20 minutes because he's playing like some phone game. He's like, "Wait, everyone, shut
Hold
the
up,
fuck up!
hold up.
I'm about to be this level."
Yeah, exactly.
Oh fuck! All right.
Okay,
What's a
Karen.
woman?
That'd be pretty good.
But I believe it's a matter of like statistical averages.
Okay, what are we supposed to ask here? Wait, someone brought up chromosomes. Right?
He doesn't even know. Oh, yeah, women, they knew what they were before chromosome. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, I don't care. Actually, back us up my servers.
Yo, Charlie, take it over for me, dude.
Money's coming in. Thanks, Charlie Kirk fan. That's $300.
Anyway, yo, motorsports. What do you say? Fucking they're hoes.
Okay,
Dude,
they're
totally agree.
are you guys hoes? Okay, back.
Sorry, Brian. We don't mean
Yeah, we do.
it. We do mean it.
Like gray matter, there's not going to be like distinct anatomical features that differentiate.
Yeah, Brian, comment down below in the future when you're a fan of the Void Productions, and let us know how you feel about us dissing you.
A female brain from a male brain.
Really?
There's a- yeah, no,
you really
really.
think that?
Well, no, it's proven like scientifically.
Well,
like
no,
when we
it's
take,
not,
yes, it
no.
is. When we take a brain scan of a male and female, the average doctor can't look and be like, that is a male brain
Well,
right there.
Not true.
Now,
No, hold on.
wait,
if
let
you
me
do a
finish my
SPECT
sentence, please.
scan, okay, if you do a SPECT scan, you can see what parts of the brain light up. And in a woman,
Okay.
the basal ganglia and the amygdala is far more active, which is the inner thought matrix. Women have a far busier inner thought life than men do. Would you guys agree with
I
that?
agree.
Right,
I was
but-
gonna say it's
So
very
that's not true.
it's very well known that like men generally are more on the logical side of things and women are more on the emotional side of things. And I think that has a big role, or the way that our brains are wired has a big role to play. I'm not saying that if you took babies who were completely unmolded that their brains would look different, but I think as we age, living in the gender that we are given, our brains become attuned to certain things, and that's why parts of our
Yeah,
brain
like
light up.
piggybacking off of that point, I don't doubt that the studies that you looked at did find differences in like brain mapping scans between men and women, but the key thing is that they looked at men and women. So that's already a brain that's been subjected to a lifetime, or not a lifetime, but like decades-long
So, Jude,
socialization.
let-
So
I
that
just wanna
socialization is going
make
to impact it. If you looked
Sorry, I
at
don't mean to
like a
interrupt,
brain
yeah.
scan of like infants, for example, like a male infant and a female infant, it would be like how different would it really
So-
look? Do you think it would look significantly different?
No, it's not even close. Of course, it's different, and I can prove it to you in two ways. But the first one, do you guys know the John Money gender experiment?
No.
So, okay, I'll just, really quick. John Money, who is a total creep, he believed that this is before we mapped the human genome. Okay, this is before we even knew about chromosomes. He said that men
Was that Johnny Cash's like
John Money.
doctor name alibi he was using for this
that was
study?
his rap name.
John Money.
John Money.
and women are blank slates at birth, and he said that they're formed through the toys we give them, the colors we
Oh,
appropriate to them, and their blank
credit
slates. Then there's these identical twins. One of the twins.
Okay, we're gonna end it here. Thanks for watching. If you
Cheers
got
to
here.
you.
All right. See you guys.
I'll see you guys later.